Okay, welcome everybody. It's 6 p.m., May 17th, 2023. And we welcome you here to the Alameda County Water District Board of Directors room. This is our 109th year as the oldest county water district in California. And so there's a lot of history with this agency. And I hope you will explore it later on our website. So we are going to postpone our regular agenda until later after we go through some ceremonies here. And I would first like to have our general manager, Mr. Ed Stevenson, do some housekeeping for us.
Great, be happy to do that. And again, welcome everybody, both here in the boardroom and online. It's great to have so many folks here on this occasion. We can't wait to get started. But first, a little bit of housekeeping. My name is Ed Stevenson and I serve as the district's general manager. Members of the public may participate in this board meeting in person or remotely by either using the Zoom application or by telephone. Any member of the public present in person who wishes to make comments may approach the speaker's podium at the appropriate time. For those participating remotely, note that the meeting agenda, staff reports, and presentation materials for the meeting are all available on the district's website at acwd.org. You may reference the instructions at the top of the agenda for how to participate using the controls in the Zoom app or your dial pad if participating by telephone audio. This board meeting is being recorded and will be made available to the public for future viewing. Again, thank you everybody for attending, and that completes my housekeeping remarks.
Okay, would the board secretary please take the roll?
Directors Gunther,
Here.
Akbari,
Here.
Huang, here, Weed,
Here.
and Sethy.
Here. And I will draw upon Michelle Walden to lead us in the salute to the flag. Yes.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we are going to welcome public comments. Members of the public may address the board on any issues not listed on the agenda, which are within the purview of the Alameda County Water District. 5-minute limit is customary. However, I may adjust the actual time allotted to accommodate the number of speakers. So if there's any member of the public here who would like to speak on a non-agenda item, please come forward to the podium. Raise your hand.
And there are a couple of hands up for our folks online.
Okay.
We have Mr.
Let's see.
Nishimura and Kelly A.
Mr. Nishimura, would you like to start off first?
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the board and public, I realize tonight's agenda is special and that I stand between you and the special event, and I thank you in advance for your patience. I hope this small interruption can be a mini civics lesson and also something of interest to our next generation. Much has been discussed about solutions to climate change and the need to wean our society away from fossil fuels. While transportation is the largest contributor to carbon emissions, domestic energy consumption is a significant contributor. There have been calls to phase out the use of domestic hot water and furnaces, which use natural gas as an energy source, and to replace them with electrically powered appliances, the electricity generated from renewable resources. While electricity can be used directly to generate heat, a far more efficient process is to use a heat pump, which moves heat from a cold reservoir to a hot reservoir, rather than generate heat from scratch. Those of you who remember high school physics will recall that the theoretical limit of efficiency of a heat pump, the so-called Carnot limit, is governed by the difference in temperature between the hot and cold reservoirs. An excellent source of heat for domestic heating is the ground and the groundwater, which lies beneath most of our homes. During the winter, it is often warmer than the ambient air, and in the summer, cooler, which will aid the operation of an air conditioner, which is really a heat pump running in reverse. What does this have to do with the district? The district regulates the installation of wells and other penetrations into the groundwater basin to protect the quality of our aquifers. My request is for the district to start planning for the future and to explore what it would take to enable future installations of domestic heat pump devices which utilize groundwater as a heat reservoir. Shifting to an all renewable electric ecosystem will not be easy or inexpensive, but the district can do its part by helping to engineer a solution that can be used by all with a minimum of administrative burden when the time comes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nishimura. Mr. Kelly Aber, would you like to go next?
Thank you. Yesterday on another agenda, there was a benchmarking exercise which looked at other agencies, other water agencies, and compared ACWD against them on various financial and pricing aspects and efficiency aspects of how many connections per employees and a whole bunch of things. The way that they did that exercise was actually quite nice. You know, they were comparing not to the highest or the lowest of the benchmark agencies, but mainly looked at the median of a number of agencies, which is a pretty good way of doing it. They used a benchmark group which looked pretty fair, and came up with some results that are a little bit reassuring, that nothing looked too far out of whack. But one of the most interesting things there was that they did the benchmarking two ways. They did what does an average customer pay per month for their water bill, and they also did what is the all-in cost of water for when you include other charges that don't show up on the bill, like charges that show up on the property taxes. People pay indirectly some fees to water utilities. And what was interesting
Mr. Aber, we have a very large audience here this evening, and so I would ask that you summarize yourself as quickly as possible.
Sure. So what was interesting there is one one agency was able to charge had low costs, but their parent bill, the bill that showed up in the mailbox, was actually very in line with everybody else's bill, even though they had somehow were able to find ways to lower the costs that they put on people's property taxes. So an interesting thing happening there, and an interesting, very good way of measuring measuring cost of water service. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. So at this time, we're going to move to our special presentation with our audience members, and we are going to consider item 5.3 from the action calendar. And this involves a special presentation to the students that are here that participated in the Alameda County Science and Engineering Fairs Excellence in Water, Wastewater, or Recycled Water Research, as well as the Alameda County Water District's Water Clips Student Video Contest Award winners. And we will go through some introductions. I believe Ms. Gonzalez, you're going to start us off.
Yeah, I'll just quickly kick us off, and thank you, President Sethy. And again, welcome everybody. It's fantastic to have so many folks here and online also. This is I got to say, speaking on behalf of the board and staff, this is truly our favorite meeting of the year. It really, really is. You know, as riveting as our budget workshop was last night, this meeting has just edged it out a little bit. So we're super excited about this. We love having you all participate. And we are celebrating, as President Sethy mentioned, we're celebrating the science fair and also student video contest winners. And we're recognizing May as Water Awareness Month. And I can tell you, the last 3 years, Mays weren't as easy and nice as they are right now. We can recognize that there is water now, which is fantastic. So to the extent you all helped in conserving water during the drought, we very much appreciate it. And we're looking forward to all the great ideas and the great work that's been done by our future water leaders. So again, thanks very much. I'll turn it over to Shireen Gonzalez, who is our public affairs supervisor, to get us started.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Good evening, members of the board, staff, and a big hello and welcome to our members of the public. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, as Mr. Stevenson said. Our most exciting board meeting of the year, I certainly like to think. Tonight, we recognize the importance of water with a resolution declaring the month of May as Water Awareness Month. May is designated as Water Awareness Month in California, and for 33 years now, the district has promoted Water Awareness Month with a focus on educating Californians about the importance of water in all facets of their lives. This is done by encouraging involvement in water awareness activities on a local, regional, and statewide level. In promotion of this year's Water Awareness Month, and as we transition out of a multi-year drought, we remain focused on encouraging water use efficiency with water-saving hacks, rebates, and resources to help customers sustain conservation. Some outreach highlights include messaging in the Tri-City Voice, social media, and even our newly launched Spotify channel. And as you entered in, we curated some special playlists for Water Awareness Month and water clips. Additional highlights include Family Science Day with Newark Unified School District, promotion of the annual water quality report, acknowledging local businesses and organizations that have demonstrated water use efficiency, and of course, the real highlight and why we are all here tonight, recognizing the Alameda County Science and Engineering Fair's Excellence in Water, Wastewater, and Recycled Water Research Award recipients within our service area, and awarding the Water Clips Student Video Contest winners. This year's theme is focused on the benefits of a water-efficient garden. Staff's recommendation by motion, adopt a resolution declaring the month of May as Water Awareness Month. And if the board would like to take action on the resolution?
Yes, I would entertain a motion from a board member.
I'll make the motion to adopt staff recommend.
I'll second.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Directors Gunther,
Aye.
Akbari,
Aye.
Huang, Weed,
Aye.
and Sethy.
Aye. So we will at this time now proceed into the award ceremony. And I'm going to turn it back over to
Yep.
you and to Ms. Renee Gonzalez.
Yes, thank you, President Sethy. And with that, I would like to thank the team that made tonight's celebration come together. Melissa Rivera, Parveen Carr, Jocelyn Ben, and most importantly, I'd like to introduce Renee Gonzalez, the Public Affairs Specialist. And Renee has been the driving force behind ACWD's support of the Science Fair and manages the Water Clips Student Video Contest. Renee.
Thank you, Shireen. Well, good evening, board, ACWD staff, members of the public, the Alameda County Science and Engineering Fair award recipients, their families, and teachers here in person and watching online tonight. Tonight, we not only recognize May as Water Awareness Month, but it's a privilege to honor the recipients of the Excellence in Water Research Awards. Each year, ACWD and 8 other water and wastewater agencies in the county co-sponsor the Alameda County Science and Engineering Fair. This year's fair took place at the Ohlone College Newark Center for Health Sciences and Technology on Saturday, March 25th, and the awards ceremony was held the next day on Sunday, March 26th. We're proud to have 3 winners from our service area that won awards for their excellence in water research projects. The award winners placed 2nd and 3rd in the senior division and 2nd in the junior division. We're fortunate to have so much talent right here from Fremont and Union City. And as I said earlier, ACWD is one of 8 other water and wastewater agencies in the county to co-sponsor the fair. Tonight, we have Paul Eldridge, General Manager from the Union Sanitary District, and Angela Lati, Board Member from the Union Sanitary District, the wastewater agency serving the Tri-City area, and they're in the audience with us tonight. Mr. Eldridge and Ms. Lati, could you please stand?
And Director Handley.
And Director Hanley also, and he also played a special part in our other award ceremony we recognize there. Thank you so much. At this time, I'd like to request the assistance of President Sethy to please come forward for the awards presentation. And students, when I call your name, please come down to receive your award. And without further ado, let's get started. It is a pleasure to recognize the following outstanding students for their hard work and innovative projects at this board meeting. This year, the second place winner from the senior division is Sethy from Basis Independent School in Fremont with a project titled Agricultural Groundwater Nitrate Evaluation Tool. This student received a check for $300. Sethy's teacher, Sanhiti Dixit, is joining us online tonight and will also be awarded with a check for $100. Thank you. Next, the second place winner in the junior division from Stratford School in Fremont with a project titled A Cheap Solution to Pollution is Neva Pran Petrovic. This student received a check for $300 and Neva's teacher, Swapna Maya, was given a check for $100. Thank you. The third place winner in the senior division from Irvington High School in Fremont with a project titled Innovative Solar Water Purification System using Fresnel lenses is Adrith Kurlagunda. This student received a check for $100 and their teacher, Subalakshmi Palanachami, was given a check for $100. Well, I think it's fair to say that we have some really impressive talent from our local students. And here at ACWD, we like to think it's something in the water, but who knows? Maybe someday these students who have demonstrated their passion for water will pursue careers in the water industry. After the awards ceremony, you are all invited to a reception in our lobby, and the student award winners will have their projects on display and will be happy to discuss their award-winning research. Okay, well, now it's time for ACWD to recognize the talents and an important message developed by area students as we present awards for our 4th annual ACWD Water Clips Student Video Contest. And before introducing tonight's winners and guests, I would like to provide a bit of background about the contest. In January, the contest was launched to give Tri-City Middle School and high school students a chance to create a 30-second video to help ACWD inform our customers about the benefits of a water-efficient garden. This year, we had 108 entries, the most we've ever received. The videos represented a wide variety of creativity and imagination while also showing students' understanding of the contest theme. And I want to thank the teachers and school districts for promoting the contest and the students for their entries. The videos were scored by our panel of expert judges, which I'll introduce in a moment, and 7 videos were awarded 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the middle school and high school categories. We also had 20 honorable mentions. In addition, students received a free movie ticket for their entry, and the winning student videos will be shown in local theaters in advance of featured films starting May 19th through the beginning of June. Tonight, we present the board, the winning videos, and recognize our student winners. So first, I would like to introduce and give a big thanks to our panel of expert judges representing TV, government, and educational outreach. We are fortunate to have some of them with us here in the audience and online. Kranti Kaur, Sustainability Coordinator and Environmental Specialist for the City of Fremont, could not join us tonight, but sends her congratulations. Supervisor David Halbert of the Alameda County Board of Supervisors also could not attend, but wanted to relay he was very impressed with the quality, content, and creativity of all the student submissions. It was inspiring to see student participation, especially on such a critical subject. And joining us online tonight is Nancy Ryan, University of California Master. She's a University of California Master Gardener, and also Jerry Dove, the creator of the television show I Remember That Song. And with us in the audience tonight, when I call your name, please stand. We have Tom Hanley, Union Sanitary District Board Member. We also have Mayor Mike Hannon, City of Newark. And at this time, I'd like to invite Mayor Hannon to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to be here today. And thank you for the board and the staff for giving me the opportunity to judge some outstanding talent in our Tri-Cities area. For those of you that don't know, I'm a father of 7 children, and all I was asked to do was pick which one of your children is your favorite. Not a small task, I got to advise you. I must have watched each one of the videos 2 or 3 times. And I'm so impressed by the talent that we have in the Tri-City area that I'm thinking our future bodes well. When I see the talent of these young people, keep in mind they had 30 seconds to put together a theme on how to create an efficient watering landscaping. And they did a fabulous job. And it was really a difficult job on my part. And certainly that was my fellow judges to make that final decision as to which one was the best. But you're all winners. Anyone that participated in this event is a winner, and they recognize that water is a precious resource and we have to safeguard it, whether we're in rainy times or as we've become accustomed to, unfortunately, with the drought. So keep in mind, it's a precious resource. Do your best to educate your fellow students and your parents as to way we can conserve and protect that resource. But you're all winners in my mind today. And thank you again, Mr. President and board, for the opportunity to participate. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Hannon, and thank you, judges. Well, next we're going to premiere the winning videos. And to set the stage of how the presentations will flow, we will first announce the winner's name. The student will come to the front and then we will show their video. So students, then please stay standing right where you're at when you come to the front. And once all the videos are shown, we will present each student with their award from our board president. After that, we will recognize the students that earned an honorable mention for their videos. I will read the names of those students and they will come to the front for their certificate and have a group photo with our board president. And without further ado, here are the winners. In the middle school division, we had a tie for 3rd place. The first 3rd place winner is Shreya Ramamurthy. Could Shreya please come forward? Shreya is a student at Ardenwood Elementary School in Fremont. Shreya received a check for $100 and her video is titled Benefits of a Water Efficient Garden. Her teacher, Antoinette Schlobem, received a check for $50 for sponsoring the video. So Ms. Schlobem, would you also please come forward?
Have you heard of the water fishing garden before? Here's what it can do for you. Saves water because it contains plants that don't require a lot of water. Saves money on your water bill because it needs less water. Saves time since you don't need to water it regularly. It supports biodiversity by attracting wildlife such as bees and butterflies. Plus, it makes for a beautiful landscape right in your backyard. If you want to learn more about the Long Be Gone program and ACWD as a water provider, please visit ACWD. Thank you. The next 3rd place winner is Kanak Panagrahi, and Kanak attends
Thornton Junior High in Fremont. Unfortunately, Kanak is not able to be here tonight, but I believe the student is online. Kanak will receive a check for $100. The video is titled Grow Like a Pro, Use Less, Save More.
Water efficient garden. Preventing soil contamination. To environment. Lastly, a water efficient garden. Water use.
The second place winner is Akshara Gudapati. Akshara is a student at Stratford Middle School. Could Akshara please come forward? Akshara received a check for $250, and Akshara's video is titled Conserving Water Through Water-Wise Gardening.
.29% of the water we use is spent outdoors. Water efficient gardens have many benefits. Some benefits of them include: number one, water conservation. Number two, lower water bill. And finally, wildlife and biodiversity. ACWD also offers rivet programs. For more information, visit acwd.org.
And the first place winner in the middle school division is Ashwath Palali. Ashwath, could you please come forward? Yeah. Ashwath attends Thornton Junior High, and he received a check for $500. His video is titled Reap Benefits with Water Efficient Garden.
Hi, here are the 4 benefits of water efficient garden. You'll be able to save energy. It improves curb appeal, leads to higher home value. You will conserve natural resources and preserve plants and wildlife habitat. It reduces the heating and cooling costs through the careful placement of shade trees and shrubs. Do you know that ACWD customers can receive a rebate for removing their lawns and installing their water plants? Hey.
Okay, students, please stay standing. Now I will announce the winners in the high school division. The third place winner is Renel Agutos. Renel, can you please come forward? Renel is a student at American High School. She received a check for $100, and her video is titled Benefits of a Water Efficient Garden.
California has faced issues related to water conservation and drought. How can we pitch in? Plant a water efficient garden. Benefits include bringing the natural beauty of California into your landscape by choosing native plants, creating a habitat. Native plants support functioning ecosystems and biodiversity. Supporting water conservation. A water efficient garden can use 85% less water per year than a traditional lawn. The Lawn Be Gone rebate program pays you for replacing your lawn with water efficient landscape. You have the chance to showcase California's natural landscape, support a healthy ecosystem, and save water. For more info, visit www.acwd.org.
The second place winner is Callie Huang from American High School. Callie, could you please come forward? Callie received a check for $250, and her video is titled Why You Should Plant a Water Efficient Garden.
Plant a water efficient garden. You can lower your water bills by reducing water use. You can conserve natural resources and preserve the habitat for wildlife. You can decrease your energy use, greenhouse gas emissions, and air pollution.
And the ACWD's Lawn and Garden Rebate Program, you can get $2 per square foot of lawn that is replaced with a water efficient landscape. Water efficient gardens save water, natural resources, energy, and money. Go to www.acwd.org or
The first place winner is Shauna Chow. Shauna, can you please come down? Shauna is from James Logan High School, and she received a check for $500. Her video is titled Garden Me. Do you know the benefits of a water efficient garden? Her teacher, Thomas Seaton, received a check for $200 for sponsoring the video.
Talk about the benefits of using a water efficient garden. Number one, you can reduce your usage of pesticides and fertilizers that emit toxic chemicals in the environment. Number two, you can increase the biodiversity in your neighborhood by creating habitats for birds, bees, and more. Lastly, you can lower your water consumption so you pay less because you're using less water. The Lawn Be Gone program is even offering a rebate on every square foot of lawn replaced with water efficient landscape. It's a win-win. For more information, check out these sources.
And now we will present each student with their award. Can I please ask President Sethy to come to the front for his assistance in awarding tonight's student winners? And students, when I call your name, please step over here to receive your award from President Sethy and pose for photos. And our official photographer, Parveen Kaur, will take your picture. And after you receive your award, please return to your place in line because we're going to take a group photo. The first person is Shauna Chow, first place winner. Okay, second place. Callie Huang, second place winner. Renelle Agutos, third place winner. Ashwath Palali, first place winner. Akshara Gudapati, second place winner. Shreya Ramamurthy, third place winner. Shreya, can I please have you stand here, please? Oh, Shreya, could you come back for 1 second? And can I please have Antoinette Stolbaum, teacher sponsor. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, so you could have a seat. Thank you. And now I will read the names of the students that earned an honorable mention for their video submission. Students, when I read your name, please walk along the back of the room and down this aisle and to receive your certificate from Miss Jocelyn Bin, and then please stand waiting in line. And then we'll take a group photo after all of the names are called. Okay, our middle school honorable mentions are Misato Asahina, Harika Dave, Nisara Deshmukh, Kavish Gupta. No one yet. Okay. Kira Hua, Josh Karthikeyan, Kanik Kaur, Akash Muthakumar, Sohum Patil, Navneet Prakash, Akshata Yadav, and team entry Pari Madi and Samiha Sheikh. Our high school honorable mentions are Fee Chanda, Anushka Madhavani, Sharika Patanshetty, Surya Ramaraju, and a team entry from Vincent Neem and Alfred Ukadi Freeman. And we're just going to take a few moments now to get the certificates passed out and coordinate a group photos. So judges, we will also need you to join us for the photo, and board members will also have you in the photo as well. So just hang tight and we'll get that coordinated.
Stand up from back here. This is like coordinating a wedding. First place.
Internet, you can stand next to Shereen.
Practicing.
What just next?
Okay, and then everybody come this way. And then couple back over here. Okay.
You might have some height issue. I see, so you're going to stand up and look up, okay. Okay, cool. And say water clips. Got it. Got a couple? Yeah. Well, if you can stay there, students, so that your family can take your photos as well.
Okay, thank you so much for your patience, everybody. Thank you. Okay, and students, after the ceremony, please be sure to get your water clips, award winner, or honorable mention yard sign announcing your amazing achievement. So those yard signs are being given out near the photo booth right outside of the door. So please be sure to pick up your yard sign. We also have yard signs for our science fair winners. So again, please be sure to pick that up. And thank you so much. So I think you'll agree that all the students submitted great videos. Their videos will be posted to our YouTube channel and shared on social media using hashtag water clips. In addition, the videos will also be shown, as I said before, at local movie theaters as 30-second commercials. So congratulations to all of the amazing students and their teachers. We are so excited to watch this contest grow and support our students in water education. And with that, I would like to turn it over to the board for any comments.
We'll start at the other end.
Well, thank you for your participation and extraordinary achievement. I encourage each of you to look at the internship programs at both ACWD and Union Sanitary District, which hopefully will expand and develop in maybe a year or two, but apply. We have a general manager who began his career as an intern. So it's a great opportunity, and be sure to put this achievement on your application. Thank you.
Well, I am just going to say every May I come here to the board meeting and feel awfully inadequate. Every time I am amazed, surprised, proud of the submission that we get. You are so creative, and the idea and the concept is just beyond anything I would be doing at your age. I was just talking to Director Akbari. Some of us were in a water district conference last week. And one of the sessions is about how to do drought messaging in the time of flood. You know what? No disrespect to all those panel members. I'm just going to say, we should have just asked you guys. I bet you would have come up with a much better idea on how to message to keep people asking people to keep on conserving water, understanding how precious this water supply is, even with a flood going on. We could have saved a lot of money just by asking them. Once again, it is amazing. I am so proud of all the entries that we get. And believe me, I'll be the first person opening YouTube and watch all the videos that you guys submitted. So thank you very much to the parents and the teachers for supporting our student entering these contests. So thank you.
Well, I'll echo, this meeting is always the most fun and most exciting here. My first experience with ACWD was in second grade when I submitted an application through this competition as well. And, we mentioned here that we're looking at each of you as our future water and wastewater leaders, and I really see it. We had an applicant a few years ago now, Shreya Ramachandran, who submitted the Gray Water project as part of this competition. And she's now taken that project not only to Stanford University, where she's pursuing her undergrad, but she just presented at the UN Water Conference with the exact project that she started out as part of this competition. So we've seen how these projects can just take you anywhere, and the impact that you can have, not just here on your local community, but across the world. And so I hope you'll be inspired by the work that you've done today and continue with it. And we'd love to see you up here on the board one day. So congratulations to you all, and thank you so much for being part of this competition.
Thank you, everyone, for all the hard work you've done. It takes effort. It takes hard work. It takes perseverance. And you've all done it. You're rewarded. Thank you so much. You guys do a great job. And I think we fail to see that sometimes. And yes, you're the future leaders out there. You will be at some point. Don't be surprised if one of you ends up sitting here, sitting in a city council. I strongly recommend you think about it. Nobody ever told me that. Then here I am. And, out there somewhere are our replacements. It's 40 years from now. I'm not going to be here. I may be sitting watching on the computer if I can figure out how to turn it on. Great job, everyone. Thank you so much for coming down tonight.
first thing I would like to do is thank all of our honored guests that came tonight. Our judges and teachers who support our students, and of course, the parents. Let me close on one thing, if I may, which is a lot of students your age in junior high and high school do not understand the wonderful career opportunities in the water and wastewater industries. These are clean jobs, exciting jobs. You can make a career out of it, and you're not working in any danger for the most part. And you would be surprised to know that a good portion of both ACWD and Union Sanitary District are composed of engineers, civil engineers, mechanical engineers, structural engineers, seismic, people that specialize in seismic engineering, geotechnical, biologists, chemists, all kinds of biomedical people that work in our laboratories. And you would be surprised at the number of people that have stayed at this agency for retiring after 30 years and getting good pay, good retirement benefits, and health care. And so as you study water and go to college, I would encourage you to take a look at the broader spectrum of jobs that are available in this exciting industry. I thank you very much. I have to tell you, I'm really touched right now. I'm near tears because I just see such good work out of everybody. Keep it up. We are going to take a recess at this time, and we will have a little reception out in the lobby. And I encourage everybody to stay and take a look at the students' projects that are out there, and try to come to a water board meeting once in a while.
All right,
Thank you.
6:47.
We are resuming. We are resuming our meeting at 7:20 p.m. And we're going to move to agenda item 4, which is the consent calendar. My understanding is Director Weed needs to recuse himself from item 4.3. So, John, do you want to state why?
I own property within the 400 feet and was involved in litigation that related to the site and this development. So I will be leaving the room for when item, if someone wants to make a motion for the other items, then I'll leave the room on 4.3.
So I think the proposal is to take 4.3 out of consent calendar, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I will make the motion to move consent calendar item 4.1, 4.2, 4.4, and add item 5.1 and 5.2 to the consent calendar.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
Directors Gunther,
Aye.
Akbari,
Aye.
Huang,
Aye.
Weed,
Aye.
and Sethy.
Aye.
I
So
will
John, if you can
excuse
step
myself.
out for a few minutes.
We need to adopt
the consent
Oh,
calendar.
I'm
as
sorry.
amended.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'll make the motion to adopt the consent calendar as amended.
Second.
Directors Gunther,
Aye.
Akbari,
Aye.
Huang,
Aye.
Weed,
Aye.
and Sethy.
Aye.
I want to excuse myself.
Okay.
Somebody's trying.
Kurt, would you mind grabbing the door? Make sure it's open, propped open.
So let me just ask quickly, have all the board members read their board packet on item 4.3? Any questions of staff? Can I entertain a motion to?
I'll move 4.3.
I'll second.
Directors Gunther,
Aye.
Akbari,
Aye.
Juan,
Aye.
Weed, and Sethy.
Aye. And so we'll welcome John back into the meeting room. Right. Got him highlighted here. So we will resume the meeting with Director Weed and we will move to item 5.4 and I'll turn it over to staff here.
Okay, this is a resolution adopting a revised compensation schedule and handbook for the unrepresented management, confidential and professional employees. And I'll turn it over to our Director of Finance and Administration, Mr. Wunderlich.
Great, thank you, Mr. Stevenson. The district periodically reviews and edits the compensation schedule for our unrepresented management, confidential and professional employees, referred to as the MCP schedule, to reflect changes necessitated by state law. During the 2022 legislative session, multiple new laws were approved that require changes to the MCP schedule. Additionally, CalPERS made prior changes to its health plans by reducing its PPO offerings from 3 options to 2 options, which also necessitates changes to the MCP schedule. Finally, based on experience during recent significant storms, a modification to the section authorizing recognition of extraordinary efforts of MCP employees is also recommended. Approval of this item will help achieve district strategic plan goal 4, improve workforce recruitment, maintain retention, and enhance employee engagement. So the recommendation on this item this evening is by motion, adopt a resolution amending the management confidential professional employees compensation schedule handbook as described in this report and as shown in the exhibits to the resolution. And I'd be happy to take any questions on this item.
I don't see any members of the public in the room or online, so back to the board.
None of my.
No question.
I don't have any either. I will just say I've seen this document before when you've revised it and it looks quite a bit improved. So could the secretary please take the roll? Oh, we need a motion.
I will move staff recommendation.
I'll second.
Directors Gunther,
Aye.
Akbari,
Aye.
Juan,
Aye.
Weed,
Aye.
and Sethy.
Aye. And so at this time, we'll move to agenda item 5.5. And on this one, Jim, I believe you.
Yeah, I live, I think been very close, I'll just call it that, of this project, so I will have to lose myself because of property, location.
Yes. Okay, so I'll turn it back to the general manager and see if staff can provide us some overview here.
Great, thank you, President Sethy. This is approval of change order, authorization of settlement and release agreement, and resolution accepting completion of phase 1 of the Alvarado Niles Pipeline Seismic Improvement Project. And I am really thrilled that we're able to bring this item to the board. It's been a long road, a successful project in the end, and really important for the district. So I'll turn it over to our Director of Engineering and Technology, Mr. Awoke.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Good evening, board members, community members, and staff. As Mr. Stevenson mentioned, this project is one of the most significant infrastructure improvements for the district. It was a system preservation and seismic retrofit of existing dilapidated pipeline. The project started right before the pandemic, so we experienced several challenges. Regardless, the project was completed in July 2021. There were some outstanding issues that staff relentlessly negotiated and coordinated with the contractor. And I am happy to report that we have reached a settlement on those pending items and we're ready to close the project out. The project was completed and has been in operation, but the contract has not been closed out until now. So I do want to thank Ms. Rekaipa Gunther, who's the project engineering manager, Mr. Chris Delp, who is the project engineering supervisor, and other team members that worked hard in getting us to this point. With that, if there are no questions from the board, I would like to go ahead and read the summary and recommendation and take any questions you may have at the end. Summary, the board previously awarded construction of phase one of the Alvarado Niles Pipeline Seismic Improvement Project to Garni Pacific Inc. The project replaced approximately 8,700 feet of existing older asbestos cement and steel pipe of various diameters within Smith Street and Alvarado Niles Road in Union City. Change order number 7 has been prepared to address changes to the pipe plan profile, numbers of various appurtenances, and material quantities in response to field conditions discovered during construction, and to include a 218 calendar day time extension. In addition, a settlement and release agreement has been prepared to resolve all disputes regarding the project. There is adequate funding in the current fiscal year capital budget for this expenditure. Board approval of this contract change order and settlement and release agreement and completion of the project will help meet the district strategic plan goal 1.1, efficiently manage and maintain our infrastructure to ensure reliability. With that, staff's recommendation is by motion 1 to approve a change order number 7 in the amount of $1,549,683 and including granting a time extension of 218 calendar days. And number 2, authorize the general manager to enter into a settlement and release agreement that resolves all disputes regarding the project with Garni Pacific Inc. And number 3, adopt a resolution accepting completion of phase 1 of the Alvarado Niles Pipeline Seismic Improvement Project, job number 21192. Thank you.
So we'll turn this back over to the board for discussion. I will just quickly say I'm very pleased that staff was able to resolve all the outstanding issues, and thank your team for all the good hard work.
Thank you.
No comment.
I did. So this is less related to this particular project, but more stems from some discussions we had yesterday. It was mentioned yesterday that the city of Fremont has concern with us leaving AC pipe in the ground as part of our seismic retrofit program. Do we face similar concerns from cities like Union City or Newark? And how are they interpreting some of these projects?
Yeah, we have not had those concerns or issues from the cities of Union City and Newark. We've been fortunate not to get into those issues per se. And in the city of Fremont, we're making progress in having those discussions about having a programmatic approach to resolving, ACP, asbestos cement pipe related concerns. So yeah, to answer your question, in Union City and Newark, that has not come up. And we're hoping moving forward, it will be less of an issue with the city of Fremont as well.
Okay, thank you.
And I would just add too, that for the Alvarado Niles project, a significant portion of the scope was actually to protect the old pipeline in place so that it could be reused for very specific purposes in the future. And so that was part of the intent and the scope all along since the very beginning in terms of coordinating with the city and others.
That was my only question. Thank you so much.
Well, the city of Fremont gets water at $8 an acre foot, essentially free water. When I went home last night, I thought it's about time we start charging.
There are no members of the public present either, in case there's interest.
And on that happy note, I will move staff recommendation.
I could always go down as a private citizen to the city council.
I'm happy to second.
Directors Gunther, Akbari,
Aye.
Huang, aye, Weed,
Aye.
and Sethy.
Aye.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to reports, agenda item 6. And we'll wait for Jim to rejoin meeting. Okay, we are moving on to reports. Still don't see any members of the public. Are there any board members that wish to talk about a committee report? Don't see any operational reports. Mr. Nishimura normally comments on our hardness map, and it was,
I certainly can.
yeah,
I like it.
it's extremely soft water this last month.
Yes, it was.
Well,
Even up in the north there, where we were in the 150 range, I
yeah,
believe.
we're the 150 range.
But,
It had
you
been
know,
lower.
150 is not bad. I remember days of 200 plus. So
Sure. Warm Springs was down around 85.
we noticed. I noticed.
Okay. Good job. 6.3 staff presentations.
Yeah, no separate staff presentations. We figure we did one already. And so we're happy to move on to 6.4.
Okay, I turn it over to you then for this report.
Okay, actually, just a couple of quick ones. One here listed on the agenda, update on Los Vaqueros Reservoir Expansion Project. And you'll start to hear more and more about this project as the next several months go on. You heard Mr. Wunderlich provide kind of an overview of the status of the project and the various things that are happening at the IRP workshop. But I also just wanted to provide a real quick update based upon the information that was shared at the general managers meeting at Aqua, where we routinely get together as the GMs of the various LAPs involved and have a bit of a meeting to kind of coordinate some things and make sure we're all on the same page. So I'll just share with you that there's an awful lot going on within the JPA right now, and President Sethy, as our representative, knows this. There's lots of subgroups that have been formed that are working on lots of elements of the various pieces and parts of the overall project. There's subgroups on storage and conveyance, operations, public benefits, design and construction, financing, and other things. And there are other sort of parallel efforts having to do with kind of actually negotiating the fees and so forth that would be involved. And so there's a lot of work happening in parallel. The JPA is working with EPA on WIFIA financing. They're working with DWR and CDFW on public benefits. So there's a lot of activity. There are a number of agreements that, as Mr. Wunderlich shared during the workshop, there are a number of agreements that the terms of which need to be worked out so that the business cases for all of the LAPs can be well understood. Those are all sort of prerequisite to the service agreement, and the service agreements are the key or a major key for ACWD. That's kind of where the business case is set up so that we all know what the costs and benefits are. And so the overall timing and schedule for the project will be reviewed at the JPA board meeting this Friday. But just kind of in a nutshell, there's a lot of the work by these subgroups and on those agreements is taking place in 2023. The idea is to have the service agreements firmed up by the end of the year. And then the plan is for the LAP local agency partner agencies to take action on the service agreement early next year. President Sethy will receive more information on Friday, but just overall schedule. That also though means that we have to continue to work as part of the JPA to get to that point, and then beyond that, when financing is actually established, so sort of by the JPA so that they can continue operations. So that means we'll need to do another amendment to the multi-party agreement. Staff right now is planning on bringing that to the board in July. We understand that the board is very, very interested in business case for the district. And as I just mentioned, there's still a lot of uncertainty out there, and we're not going to have, as the plan goes right now, we're not going to have a lot of additional certainty in terms of a lot of those sort of core drivers of our business case for several months and perhaps longer, depending on how things actually go. So we're going to do our best, though, at the July meeting to share what we can in terms of the business case as it looks to us right now. And there'll be a lot of uncertainty in there, but we know that's a key issue for the board. So we'll do our best in July to present what we can of the business case. So with that, if there's any questions, be happy to address them.
Really a comment, and I don't know if there's a response to it or not, but a another member of board of directors of another agency with a similar agreement on Los Vaqueros said that she was told that the demand for the project had increased significantly, and and it may well be an option for them to reduce their participation by as much as half.
The other agency, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, all these discussions are ongoing, and every agency has a different idea about what they think they need in the way of storage. But I'll tell you, those are all based upon a number of assumptions that agency is making, or that either the JPA or Contra Costa has made in the past. We really need to understand how the operation will work before we can really identify, sort of hone in on what the actual needs or sort of optimum storage and conveyance would be for each agency. So again, that's kind of an iterative process. So they may have determined that they can reduce what they're looking for. And who knows, maybe we'll be in a similar position, but we really need to model it on our end, sure.
And I question the ability to really understand or know how the operation will work when one of the agencies has veto, or two of the agencies has veto power over any decision going forward. And one in particular has a moral objection to sending water to much of the state.
Yeah, we'll know much more about the specific terms of all those agreements and what can be done and not done over the next several months.
Thank you.
I'm just going to add one bullet here, that we have a very extensive agenda again this Friday for the LVE JPA. I think the last meeting was a 6-hour board meeting, started in the morning, left in the afternoon. And I just want to report that the most important thing that we're likely to do on Friday is to approve the hiring of a program management team, of actual firm that will do the program management. And this will relieve a lot of pressure on folks. And as you know, the Delta Conveyance System has had a program manager now in place for, I think, 4 years, maybe it's 4 years, somewhere around there. And that executive director for the Delta Conveyance Design and Construction Authority has presented to our board in the past, and he's just doing a superb job. And we need someone to help our executive director from a program management point of view, because there's just a ton of stuff that needs to be delegated to an organization that can define everything that has to be accomplished and the timelines and everything like that. So I will say, as an 8-member board, we've been working in a very harmonious way. Think about the disparate nature of these districts, from San Francisco to Grasslands to Delta Mendota and down to Westlands. I mean, in our own urban areas around here. Everybody I feel is like rowing in the same direction. And it's a team effort.
All right, I had one other quick item, and that was just to let the board and the public know that, you know, with COVID more or less behind us and sort of returning to more normal operations in a lot of ways, we're reestablishing our sort of open sort of public tours, access and availability at WTP2. That's where we're starting right now, our water treatment plant 2 on Mission Boulevard. And we're kind of doing things in batches. That's kind of the plan right now. So we'll try and do 2 per year. We'll invite members of the public. We'll do some outreach before each one, and then take a certain number and have a couple of tours each day. So our first one is planned right now for Saturday, June 17th. There'll be 2 tours that day, 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. There'll be more information coming out. We're going to start promoting this beginning of June, but we just want to give the board a heads up that that's what's going to be happening. The next one would be planned for November, and then we would kind of continue on a cycle after that. So that's where we're headed, and that completes our GM reports.
If I can just
Yeah.
comment on that, I was gonna save this for director's comments, but during our reception right now, several parents asked me if we had opportunities for tours.
Yeah.
And so I would encourage us to reach out to all the folks who participated in our competition program,
Okay.
because I think there's a tremendous amount of interest, both from the students, parents, and teachers to take part in some of these tours.
That's a
Right.
good idea. You got a ready-made audience.
Right. We actually have quite a list that has piled up over the last 3 years, folks that have expressed some interest, and we're like, well, we're not really doing it just yet. So, but we'll be happy to reach out to them too. All right.
Guess I will start off on director's reports. First one's kind of quick. The Fremont Chamber of Commerce sponsored a State of the California Economy, which I attended, and our guest speaker was Fiona Ma. So we are still awaiting the State of the City address from the mayor and the chamber, but Fiona Ma is really a very impressive government official. I mean, she gave a presentation. I'm sure some of it's rehearsed, but it's without notes or anything, very well organized. And then when she was getting peppered with questions about our state budget and line items in the budget, she knew it off the top of her head. And I asked her questions about the state debt and retiring debt and refinancing bonds. And she just very crisply went, ball, boom, 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 boom. And she spoke for close to 45 minutes. And it was just, it's nice to see when you have government officials that do their homework. And Betty Yee, was the same kind of person previously. And John and I got to talk with her down at the Well Conference recently. I think you all know the fact that California goes on a roller coaster with its surpluses and deficits, because most of it is based on the top 1% earners in the state and capital gains taxes. So we went from $100 billion surplus to what looks like a $30 billion deficit. The good news is, as you may have heard from the governor last week, the Democrats and the governor did not over splurge last year. They made one-time commitments to things, but not things that have to be financed over years and years into the future. So the governor is suspending a lot of areas where the state made initial investments, and we are not going into our rainy day fund, which is good.
Poor choice.
John, do you want to start off with Aqua?
Well, let me follow up first with the comment about Fiona Ma. Fiona Ma had a strong interest in water. She was the representative on the PUC from the Board of Supervisors for San Francisco. She had an interest in becoming a member of the Region 5 board, which will be an item later this evening. And I tried strongly when I was shared to get support to have her appointed to the Region 5 board at Aqua and ran into opposition. We ultimately were able to get Andy Moran, who had been a former general manager of the PUC, onto the Region 5 board. But it showed the curious political biases of members, particularly those from the Central Coast, for the city and county of San Francisco. City and county of San Francisco and Aqua had a long and arduous relationship going back to the days of Art Agnes and the grape growers. And there was a boycott of San Francisco for many years. We finally overcame that. I remember going to a 100th anniversary of the Hetch Hetchy system. And in the basement of City Hall was a buffet. There were table grapes. I quickly got on the phone and said, guys, I think maybe we can come back. So it was a part of the political emphasis gamemanship in California, particularly as it went around water, and the breakdown in Aqua in San Francisco was over the grape growers and workers. They went to San Francisco PU's Super Board of Supervisors meeting and were not allowed. Aqua's leadership went down and were not allowed to speak. In a longer history. So no, that was my general comment. I have we had the Aqua conference, and I thought that went well. And there is a opportunity for a Bosca tour opening seat that showed up on the internet today on my email for June 6th and 7th. If there's a board member that would like to go in my stead, I would certainly encourage them to do so. Thank you.
All right, so I'll just focus my report back on a couple of sessions that I attended. So I attended a session on water rights. Consider 40% of our water is from Alameda Creek, and we do have water rights in that creek. I thought you'd be prudent to go sit in and learn about the potential changes to California's water right. At least there is a movement to try to update and modify our water right. I think what I have learned is that it's going to be a long and difficult path. I think from our point of view, we looked at it in the terms of, do we have enough water to serve our customers? I think there are also concepts out there that we need to balance environmental need with human need. And of course, California apparently has one of the most complicated water rights system in the United States. That I learned that to be quite interesting. Apparently other states have updated their water rights rules and laws, and we just keep on patching it. The second session that I attended was actually the Region 5 session on water whiplash. That was actually kind of fascinating. There was a lot of sharing from our local water districts on their storm response. But I think the takeaway is that we need to also think of ourselves a little bit as a flood control agency to a point, because our water right is tied, our water, the amount of water we could store behind a reservoir is tied to flood control. And I sat in and Steve Ritchie from San Francisco PUC presented how they operated Calaveras during the last big storm. And a tidbit is that I actually did not know they had to release. Calaveras was actually full enough that they actually have to release water. And Steve was telling me that he didn't think in his lifetime he would ever seen that waterway used, that they would have to release water, but they did in the storm. Calaveras was definitely full. So yeah, it's just more of a lesson of we need to cooperate with our partners to make sure that we have sufficient water that we need, yet at the same time balance the flood control needs. And as far as the vendor, last thing, I have to mention the cute puppies. I found it to be very fascinating. There's actually a vendor that brought 2 dogs out, and they are supposed to be water leak sniffing dogs that have 100% accuracy. I found that to be pretty amazing. I don't usually believe in things that has 100% accuracy. So this is something that I'm just going to watch, because this actually is a fascinating concept. It's the same concept as drug sniffing dogs, or what people be used to at SFO, the cute beagles who sniffed out contraband food. So it's the same thing. They train the dog to sniff out water that's specific to a water district. And they are actually good enough to distinguish between background groundwater and the actual tap water leak. I found that to be pretty amazing. So I probably will be visiting them and trying to track their effectiveness to see if it's something that would benefit us. At this point, not convinced yet.
I could make a quick comment on Calaveras. And I think they were all excited that the $150 million spillway did operate effectively and properly. But they are now in the process of trying to increase the height of the Calaveras Dam to increase the storage by 4-fold, which will require removal of the $150 million spillway. And the reason it was built at its current level is that in order to get through the $6 billion deferred maintenance with water supply improvement program, they had to promise that there would be no additional capacity in the Hetch Hetchy system, 305 million gallons a day before and 305 MGD afterwards. Otherwise, the environmentalists were going to protest a pro-growth agenda. So that $20 million EIR, and they got it approved without opposition. But that was the trade-off. Thank you.
Great. So I'm also reporting on the Aqua conference from last week. At a previous conference last year, and you'll have to forgive me because I don't remember if it was the spring or fall conference last year, but there's a roundtable on labor issues. And as part of that discussion, there was a suggestion that came out of there about creating a foundation through which Aqua could more broadly address labor issues, but more pointedly utilize the kind of constraint, or not constraints, but the ideas behind the DEI movement to expand the labor pool to interest more folks to join the water industry. So I was very excited that at this conference, they really highlighted the Aqua Foundation and made that a big topic of discussion. And I'm glad that President Sethy brought it up at our meeting yesterday for us to join in on the Aqua Foundation. So I'm going to be really excited about the work that they're doing and excited that we're going to be a part of that. I also attended a few other sessions, including the Region 5 session where I gave an update on the Business Development Committee where I'm currently still serving. And then I was going to talk about the puppies, but I think we
Piled on the puppies.
It's an interesting concept.
Yeah, it is.
But also I hope to see them as vendors in future conferences. But yeah, so that's my update.
Let's all bring some dog treats.
They were giving away dog biscuits as a giveaway.
Well, the minutes may reflect that I was at the Aqua conference, but sadly I was unable to attend, so I will not be making any report from that. Now I heard I missed the dogs too.
Yeah, I didn't want to break that to
Thank
you.
you so much.
Yeah. For the record, we had the agenda finalized before we found out that you weren't able to make it. So
But the good news was a staff member did get to go in my place.
Trust
Yeah.
me, we really missed you. We did. Okay, I attended 7 meetings by my count. One was only half the meeting because I had to go to the other one. So I went to the Groundwater Committee meeting where they were just rehashing all the Sigma issues across the state. There was a good discussion about the 6 districts that are in non-compliance. And so they highlighted the issues going on with semi-tropic and Kern County and things like that. I then had to go to the outreach task force, which I was appointed to by President Tobin. And so we worked on our initiatives there. Went to the Water Management Committee meeting, which I serve on next. And that meeting was kind of unwieldy. Everybody wanted an update on the water situation coming out of this winter rains and everything. I never saw so many people there. There are, I think I'm one of, the committee's unwieldy too. It's very large. And there must have been 250 people in the room, and this was on the first day. So everybody wanted to hear from DWR, State Water Board, what's going on, where people can get money for recovery situations, things like that. I went to the local government committee meeting in the afternoon. I was surprised, since I didn't work on the agenda, that the putting the fixed charge on the property tax bill was number 1 on the agenda. And I got a very nice round of thank yous and appreciation from the Aqua staff and our committee chair and vice chair for all the work that was put in, and a reminder from them that this has not been dropped off the table, that they will take a look at it again in the fall for the next legislative cycle. We also had a very good discussion on the impact of putting in ADUs in people's backyards. I think this is a topic on the Legal Affairs Committee too. And we had talked about this last year. Now people are even more confused because of subdivision laws and providing easements and how you come up with separate billing and all these different issues that come to fruition when you put in another unit on your property. And even to the point of there's legislation right now for people to be able to sell their ADUs as a separate parcel of property. How do you do that? That means you have to subdivide your current lot. So I would encourage ACWD to do the same thing I said last fall from the fall conference, which is it would be good to set up a task force with the three cities, USD, ACWD, any other impacted agency to figure out a common set of rules, because you can't have one city adopting one set of rules, another doing it a different way. You end up with a hodgepodge of laws. There has to be some coordinated effort here. And I would like to see us take a lead in that. I don't know if it's really appropriate for me to bring this up on the Southern Alameda County GIS board meeting next week that I'm attending. But I'm going to ask some questions behind the scenes because that might be a helpful resource. Especially when it comes down to defining, a parcel by parcel, what's going on. The third thing, which actually has come to fruition, and I think it's really nice, is we have one local government initiative that has been going on to study paving standards for utilities and how they share and are reimbursed by cities. And much like we were talking about yesterday, a lot of the unfunded mandates that if you take a 2-foot trench to put in a new pipe, suddenly ACWD or USD is responsible for repaving the entire street. And it's getting out of hand right now where the municipalities are thrusting a lot of work on the utilities when, they should be sharing in the cost. So the net result is that the subcommittee working on that is actually going to draft a set of guidelines that will be published by Aqua. And I know we have one person here in the district that's helping out.
No, our development team was looking at that. I'm not sure if that's who it is, but.
Well, I gave the subcommittee chair. I gave him a card to call engineer.
Yes, I've been communicating with Michael Heather from City of Fairfield, if that's who you were thinking of.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've been communicating with him and I'm part of the work group that's working on that, but I couldn't attend the last meeting they had maybe a month ago or so.
Well, it sounds like they're making some good progress and they're finding common themes across the state. And so like on everything, it says you need to check with your legal counsel before you do anything. But here's a set of guidelines that most water districts can, try to work with. Statewide issue forum was titled "Show Me the Money," and I think Director Huang was there and we both agreed that they never showed us the money. I thought the most interesting session that was held was on advancing conveyance. Because this is the first time I've heard about discussion about all the major conveyance systems in California and the work that's being done. We have our focus on Delta conveyance, but there's all these other conveyance systems around the state and they're all crumbling apart. And so we're looking at investing a total cost right now of $1.4 billion on Los Vaqueros Reservoir. It is shocking to find out that the Los Banos Delta Mendota district is going to spend $3.2 billion just to repair all of their canals, levees, bridges, all kinds of things. They've got like 120 projects that they got to work on. And you don't see that because it's not one large dam. It is a network of conveyance systems. Then you have all the canals, you know, the state that are suffering from subsidence. Many of them are carrying only about 1/4 to 40% of their original capacity. So that was a really fascinating discussion, and I really appreciated Tony Myers from DWR answering the question, isn't the Delta conveyance too much of a cost? And he essentially said, it doesn't matter whether it's even $40 billion. The cost more than doubles from where it is right now. He said, this is the wisest investment Californians can make for the future, the next 200 years. And then he showed the economic analysis behind it. We're the 5th largest economy in the state. We got $400 billion of revenue that, you know, comes in a certain period of time. If you amortize the $40 billion cost on the Delta conveyance over 40 years, and then the benefits over 200 years, you start to come up with some really good economic justification. And he was quite forthright in saying that the entire environmental community is, you know, completely opposed. So the attorneys program was really good. First kill all the lawyers. Mr. Miyake, do you know where that quote comes from?
They said it in the session. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Shakespeare.
Comes from.
Let's kill the lawyer. I think it's the lawyers is the quote.
Yes. But I have a very interesting legal analysis that I'd like to pass on to you about the history of that saying, and even up to Supreme Court justices using it from time to time. But it's interesting to actually read deeply into what Shakespeare was trying to say.
Henry VI, Part 2, Act 4, Scene 2.
Yeah.
There. At least according to Wikipedia.
It's actually a very misunderstood line in the play, but when you see it in the historical context, it is extremely interesting to me, at least. So anyway, moving on. I am attending going up to Sacramento tomorrow. We're going to have our first Delta Conveyance Finance Authority meeting since before the pandemic, early 2020. And right after is the Delta Conveyance Design and Construction Authority meeting. One important thing to know is that the lawsuit that has been going, the validation lawsuit that started 4 or 5 years ago on this, where we were sued by all the environmental groups led by the Sierra Club. So far, the judge who's hearing this in Sacramento Superior Court has given summary judgment against all of the environmental groups' claims. So they have not been successful on a single one. Beginning this Monday, they went to trial on all of the outstanding issues, and they expected the trial to only go 3 to 5 days. And then the judge will issue out his opinion in September, October. So, so far, so good. We'll see what happens. And we will learn more in closed door session tomorrow. The LVE JPA meeting is on Friday. I told you it's quite comprehensive this time again. And then lastly, I wanted to mention that Director Weed and I are going up to the Region 2 event up in Maxwell to see the sites tour next week. Are you going?
No, I can't make that one. I really wanted to though, and start some good rumors with the three of us up there at the same time. Sadly, I can't make that.
So I had to cancel my trip up to Mount Shasta earlier in the month because rain was in the forecast and mountain would not have been visible in the clouds. So I'm going to head from Maxwell up to Mount Shasta for a few days of vacation before returning. So I did want to mention lastly, the 100th birthday for East Bay Mud is this year, and their 100th year board meeting anniversary is next Monday, May 22nd. And they have a very nice half-day 5-hour community fair and party, with all kinds of stuff going on Sunday. And I'm going up there. I think it's a good opportunity to network with other people in the water industry. It's from 11 to 4 at Lake Temescal. And it's very easy to get to. You take BART to McCarthy Station or Rockridge, and every 10 minutes they have a shuttle that's coming by, take people up and down. So there's no cost for parking and made it very easy. I'm going to take BART from Warm Springs. And we'll look forward to talking to our fellow board members up there. There's a lot of the water industry coming out for this. It's not.
Yeah. Well, it's a big birthday.
Well, we spent our money, I thought wisely, on a history book. And I remember myself saying, not a big party, a one-time event. You remember that?
Yeah.
I wanted something that would have some permanence, but they are deciding to spend a few $100,000 on a bash.
Different strokes.
And they did one thing that I think is kind of fun. I don't know if you saw it in the newspaper last weekend, but they partnered with Drake's Brewery to come up with their own Water Waves beer or something like that. And they're now going out retail with this through Drake's distribution network. And so East Bay Mud gets, and it's 95% tap water. That's what's in it for East Bay Mud. And they are getting, much like we get from the Home Serve program, some revenue back. So they're getting like 10% back on the sales of beer, which they're putting into their Help on Tap program.
What a wonderful idea.
I said, Ed, no, but what a new way of putting Help on Tap into our program, like the beer tap, you know? And we should go across the street for our 110th over to Doss Brew. They're using our water. We'll come up with a competing beer. All right, that's it, folks.
I said earlier, happy birthday to our younger sibling.
Yeah,
They grew up so
I'm-
fast.
Kids.
So we're going to turn to our closed door session, and I would turn it over to our general counsel to lead us in.
Great, happy to do that. It is now 8:12 and the board is going to convene in closed session for item number 8.1, which pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957, Public Employee Performance Evaluation, title General Manager. We can now convene into closed session.
Okay. Okay, the board is returning from closed session on item 8.1. And we're returning into open session for a report on our closed door session. So pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957, we conducted a public employee performance evaluation, title General Manager, and the board performed its job in terms of doing that evaluation. And that's our report out to the public at this time. Okay. So for Mr. Miyake, do you want to lead us here on
Sure.
purpose of our next step here?
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. So the next section, the next item on the agenda is item 9.1, appoint agency designated representatives for labor negotiations between the district and the general manager, an unrepresented employee for a possible amendment to the general manager's appointment. This action is required by the Brown Act before you go into your next closed session, which is item 10.1. So it'd be appropriate at this time for the board to talk about who they would like to be their negotiators. In the past, it's been the board president, the board vice president, but it can be anybody that the board would choose. And then somebody should make a motion and second that and take action to designate the representatives.
I can.
Excuse me. There's a member of the public participating right now, Mr. Nishimura. Do you have any public comment on what we're doing? Don't see any. So your board president and vice president are happy to take on the responsibility of being the negotiators for the board. If there is a motion in that.
I'll move the board president and vice president become the negotiators.
I'll second.
Directors Gunther,
Aye.
Akbari,
Aye.
Huang,
Aye.
Weed,
Aye.
and Sethy.
Aye. So we will move again into closed door session.
Happy to take you into closed
Yes.
session if you'd like.
Right.
Great. It is now 9:20. And the board is going to convene into closed session pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957.6. Conference with labor negotiators. The agency designated representatives are your board president, Paul Sethy, and board vice president, James Gunther. And the unrepresented employee is the general manager. We can now convene into closed session.
Okay. So we're back from our closed door session, back in open session. And pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957.6, the board met with its labor negotiators, your board president and vice president. And the unrepresented employee that we negotiated with was our general manager. Instructions were given by the board to the labor negotiators, and that's the only report we can give at this time.
And for the record, the general manager was not in the closed session where the board provided direction to its negotiators.
Correct.
Okay.
And with that, if there's any other board comments or anything? No? Okay, we'll call the meeting adjourned at 9:42.
All right, everybody. Thank